So Rugg says, hey, Brad, Marco, and team. It's going to be me and Adam and Chris going forward. But yes, Ruggs says, what is your position on partly duplicating our syndication network for short form content that's being posted on our social media? For example, the short post, not our blog post, posted on GMB and Facebook of products and services, which are usually single images with a paragraph of text. I was thinking of creating an IFTTT or Zapier triggers from Facebook to our Blogger, Tumblr, WordPress, and other sites in the syndication network that are not being directly posted. Is that okay if all of these are duplicate content with attribution link back to the GMB? Not sure about using anchor tags here. Thanks. Yeah. Okay. So sure you can. Remember, if it's branded content, let's say that you're doing separate Facebook posts, right? Where you've got either you or somebody on your team or whatever is scheduling separate Facebook posts, which makes sense because the platforms are different, right? So it does make sense to create separate posts on Facebook. But if you want to like syndicate those Facebook posts to your branded network, it's all branded content. There's no harm in that. What you got to worry about with syndicating content from some of the other platforms, such as Facebook or from GMB, provided you can get a GMB RSS, right? And depending, and I'll come back to that in a moment. But what I'm saying is, a lot of times when you're syndicating content from those platforms, the formatting is weird, like, and it's hard to get them to look right. So, and that's oftentimes why I don't do that, because it's what you run the risk of is if you've got posts that look like shit that are being syndicated to your branded syndication network, it could come across as spammy and could potentially get, not always, but could get your syndication network properties suspended or terminated, right? And that would be a bad thing. You don't want that. So, play with it. What I would suggest doing is, before starting to just syndicate content to your branded network, is maybe perhaps set up a couple of test accounts that you would be syndicating content from to a couple of test accounts using IFTTT or Zapier or whatever, and determine how it looks. Play around with it so that you can figure out how to configure the applets to produce the best result and look the best, right? So that you don't potentially run the risk of having your syndication network properties terminated. Okay, so that's what I would recommend is to play around with it. It again, like, and I've talked about this before, but recently I started testing with what's called OneUp app as a GMB post scheduling app, because it allows you to post to your GMBs through an RSS feed, which is a great way to automate content to your GMBs. And it does a really good job of that. I've tested a lot of different apps to do that, and none of them did it very well, but OneUp app does it. There's a limiting factor with that, though. They only allow a very small number of RSS feeds per account, but you can, and I've already contacted to support to find out about this, because I complained to OneUp app support. I was like, hey, I love the service, but your RSS feed limitation, the number of feeds that you can have per account subscription level, is ridiculous. It's like super limiting, and it doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. But they replied back and said, we do offer the ability to add additional RSS feeds for $3 per month per feed. And the way that I look at this is that it makes sense. It's cheaper still to do that and add on additional RSS feeds as needed at $3 per month per feed than it is to pay a VA to manually post our GMB posts, right? So for example, I've got a blogger who does almost all of my blogging for all of my stuff now. She does blogs on my clients' websites. She does blog posts, she does GMB posts where she publishes GMB posts as well, schedules them out in the scheduling app, whatever publishing GMB post scheduling app we're using. We've tried a lot of them, but what I'm saying is I still pay her to do blog posts and then also go publish GMB posts. So it makes sense if I can eliminate the need to pay a VA to go publish separate GMB posts, because we can accomplish GMB posting through the blog posts and automate the GMB posts through an RSS feed. It's much more cost effective, right? It's economical, it's more efficient, time efficient, it's more cost effective. So in other words, instead of me paying her to do, 3 posts a week per location, so 12 posts per month, and, paying her like say $3.50 or whatever it is per post, which is typically how I would pay. So instead of spending like $35 a month or $40 a month for her to pay her to do GMB posts, I can just pay $3 a month and have all of the posts that she's already publishing on the blog automatically post to the GMB via RSS. Does that make sense? So it's more cost effective. And so, but then also you can take the GMB. Some posting apps will create an RSS feed from GMB posts so that you can syndicate GMB posts. The problem I've had with that is that they look like shit when they're posted, because there's no, like when they get published on their syndication sites, right? Because if you think about a GMB post, there's no title tag. It's just post body, right? So there's no way to separate a title from whatever text you have in the post body. So when you try to syndicate, and I've done this, I've tried multiple times and never got it to work right. If I try to take a GMB post RSS feed and then try to use that to post to syndicate GMB posts to the syndication network properties, which makes sense to do that. The problem is whatever the post body text is the title, right? So if you've got, there's 1,500 character maximum limit in a GMB post. If you've got 1,500 characters or, whatever, then that becomes like the title. And obviously the title tags get truncated, but it looks like shit. And so like it's very, very easy to get your syndication network properties, many of them suspended or terminated because it looks like shit. and it's really spammy, and like there's no separate title tag. So again, I don't recommend trying to syndicate. Maybe if you have another solution that you found that works, I would love to hear about it. If anybody ever watching any of these webinars has a suggestion, please reach out to me and let me know, because I would love to be able to syndicate our GMB posts, but I have not found a way to make it look good. But like I said, RSS app, or excuse me, OneUp app. So if you go to oneupapp.io, I know we have an affiliate link for that somewhere. Anyway, if you go there, then you can subscribe to them and check it out, and you can start posting to GMB through RSS feeds. And that actually works out really, really good. You can't silo them. There's no way to silo them without doing posts manually, which is what I do. My team, what we do is anytime we want to do GMB post silos, we just do those manually. But our automated posts are what we like, what I call activity posts. And that's just to keep the GMB, keep activity on the GMB. Since we're publishing blog posts for clients anyways, usually it depends on the client, but a minimum of one blog post per week. That way, every single week, the GMB, at least minimum one GMB post per week because of the blog, right? And then the other thing that we do is I like to use the RSS feeds from the Press Advantage organization page, because every one of our projects, our clients, lead gen assets all have their own Press Advantage organization page that has an RSS feed as well. And at the bare minimum, we do at least one press release per location. But for clients, it's usually between 2 to 4 press releases per month. And so I like to have those also automatically syndicate and create GMB posts. Does that make sense? So I end up with 2 RSS feeds per location so that I can auto-populate the GMB posts. But it's great. It works fantastic. It's actually eliminated some of or reduced some of my expenses because I don't have to pay my VA to do separate GMB posts now. Okay. Other than when I want to do a silo. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. So play around with it before you just go run wild with doing what you mentioned, Rugs. I would recommend that you test first and figure out however to configure the applets in the best way to where they work the way that you want them, and then deploy that to your branded project. All right. That's a good question.